HODs and all the other people with a complete buy-in, activity-based cost management became a very powerful tool with all the Fortune 500 companies. Now, we've done this for about 30 to 40 companies in India and abroad. So when I introduce this subject, I just want to introduce this subject in a manner of a chat. We are going to be together for about 70, 80 minutes, after which I hope I can take questions. This moment, I'm assuming that my voice is clear and perhaps a little audio you can see. And one by one, we are going to unload about 30 to 40 slides in which after slide 18, you will actually get case studies. And in the case study, I will demonstrate how a cost accountant can convince a departmental head to behave differently. It is okay for a managing director to go to a head of marketing and say, your department is not behaving itself properly. But when you put a tabulation which says the same sentence, then you don't have to waste this time. The departmental head himself knows that my department is not behaving itself because I'm not doing what I am supposed to be doing. So as we go along, I'm going to give you an example of an accounts department, a quality control department. I'll give you an example of supply chain overheads and how they are controlled. Because when activity-based cost management exercises, assignments begin, the MD always comes to you and says, I have a problem with marketing. Can we get a tabulation which helps me get a fix on this department? In other words, there is something which the MD can't put his finger on. Which the good news is that with cooperation of all the HODs, the cost or the management accountant can put a finger exactly and tell him what is wrong. That is why all these tabulations help the managing director phase out the products properly, harvest the products properly, reduce the number of branches based on some obvious tabulations, no shouting matches. Now you take a very simple example. If two people go to a restaurant and one person orders a cup of tea and the other person orders a banquet, you're not going to share the bill equally. So unfortunately, in the life of a cost and management accountant, you live in the realm of drivers. Take for example, an accounts department. Suppose the department is about 1 crore. There are 3 SBUs, and each of the SBUs are equal. So suddenly the temptation is to do 33, 33, 34 and say 100 tally of accounts department distributed to 3 SBUs. Now this is the trap. Another set of lunacies which continue in the market is, as cost accountants, we don't apply ourselves to the psychology of the department ever. We feel that sales expenses are proportional to sales. And therefore, if you've got 9 branches, and if you've got 9 sales figures, and if you've got some common expenses, the common expenses are given to those branches based on the sales. Now, unfortunately, you can go to a client before you get a repeat order. And conversely, you can go to the client 10 times with airfare, with taxi travel, with days spent in hotels, with 20 presentations which have been lined up for him. You will still not get the order. So in reality, the psychology of the department is, if you have established yourself, your sales are inversely proportional to the effort. Whereas if you're struggling, the proportionality is different. Now, who is the best judge of all this? So it is the cost and management accountant's fundamental responsibility to tell the MD that his perceptions about the assessment of the performance of any department or a product or an entire SBU is either flawed, the allocation methodology is traditional and unacceptable anymore, and therefore retention of good people is not possible. I know a lot of vice presidents who left because they said, कुछ accounts department है, उसका 33% मुझे दे दिया है, and my profits have come down. And these support departments are all traditional indirect overheads. One fundamental which everybody has to appreciate is that activity-based cost management is the control of indirect costs. You see, for the bill of material, for the direct labor, you have a well-defined document which quantifies it. The problem is with all the support departments, You can have HR, you can have admin, you can have accounts, you can have finance, you can have media, you can have central design, you can have testing, you can have some common services which are given to 4 or 5 SBUs at the same time. It's always in this area where the cost accountant can play an extremely big role. And I shall now slowly, when I am introducing the subject, I'll get down to the examples, and I hope I'll be able to communicate a lifestyle to you. It's okay to do stock valuations. It's also okay to do cost audits. It's also okay to do the traditional cost accounting. Today's need is to be like a deputy MD, guiding him every way of the way and making sure that the performance appraisal of the product and the SBU is correct so that it is not demotivating. So having said this, if there is a textbook approach, incidentally, this is only one slide which is going to be a textbook approach. The rest are all practical case studies, and it is going to be a chat for about next 70 minutes. So business basically means you do activities, and activities consume resource. Now there is a causal relationship. You can't pick up any expense and say that an expense is a cost. So there is a slide which is dedicated to the misnomers of how loosely cost accountants and MDs and departmental heads use words like cost, expense, absorbed cost, unabsorbed cost. They use value. Keep on using these words so loosely, the tabulation of all these things becomes extremely difficult. Now, if ABCM as a subject has to be introduced in 1 minute, this is one of the few textbook ways that it is introduced. So business is activities, and activities consume resource. The fine art of taking all these activities and taking the activities to any cost object. The cost object could be a product, it could be geography. That is based on the ABC technique, the drivers which are acceptable. If an MD says, why should I do ABCM? That is because activities have a denominator. You got a trial balance, it's a political statement. It is full of expenses which you may or may not justify or need. It is full of people who are either performing or non-performing. Every aspect of the trial balance does not have a denominator. The moment you convert a trial balance into activities, activities have a denominator. So once you can convert every department or your own life into activities, you will find everything very, very manageable. You go along, take all these activities and worry about how you make a product or a service of whatever cost object you have in mind. So the precise breakdown of indirect costs, this is one of the most difficult things to do. It enhances the reliability of cost data and hence producing nearly true costs and better classifying for the cost incurred by a company. Now this requires tact. You must have the HOD sitting by your side, owning up just about everything we are saying now. So once you say no under or no over, it means you are being fair. ABCM requires a certain amount of fairness. You don't need blame game. The acceptance level from an HOD has to be there. That is why ABCM for all indirect costs and all support departments is a departmental head driven exercise. Sometimes the capital is conspicuous by his absence. It is only the lifestyle of a cost and management accountant along with the departmental head which can really help the MD in times of crisis, including the present one which you see yourself. These days, marketing is not open to accepting anything as a product cost. They want justification. They want explanations. They want to understand it so that market segments can be addressed properly. So if the cost and management accountant has to spend time in the decision-making process of a company, ABCM has been one of the most popular tools. Every time you say, should I take the order? There is a leaning on capacity. Every time do you say, is it profitability enough? Is the cost right? Can I reduce it even further? There is a management initiative. You are having your foot on so many stones, which is virtually like a deputy MD's job. And a CMA's job today has to rise to this level. Because today they are really wanting some guidance from all of us. And the traditional way is not going to work, particularly post-COVID. When top lines are disappearing, people are losing jobs, and products are being phased in and phased out, quadrupling or being halved. Everything requires a wonderful statement signed off with the departmental head. So what to get in, what to get out of is again why use activity-based cost management. These are the reasons why ABCM has picked up. Competitive prices, sales department to sell product service successfully in the market. He will not do it unless he's convinced that the cost is fair. All KRAs, all KPIs are based on the quantification of the activities of every indirect department. You don't quantify this, you don't know the cost of the activity, you don't even know whether to eliminate the activity. As we go to the examples, all these blocks will be clear, which is why there is going to be only one slide like this. And I'm not going to give you too many slides like this. The rest will be just case studies and examples. The accounts department, in any case, including the cost accountants, have got a major problem. They seem to be the know-all of the allocation process, whereas the allocation process is hidden with the full competence of the departmental head. And that competence the MD has never used. He has been guided by cost accountancy maps, he has been guided by cost accountancy tabulations, where predominantly the allocations have been done in an ivory tower. The moment you involve a departmental head, you will find a lot of change in the basic fundamentals. Let's relieve. Let's have a good quality where arguments are no shouting matches. Last but not the least, ABCM is not a formal. Folks, it's not. This is not a tool for the finance department alone. It is actually a HOD's tool. It's an MD's tool. But the only person who can facilitate this is a cost and management accountant who is good in communication. It is not a solution for all problems. I'm not saying ABCM is a solution for all problems. You might require something else. You might require a balanced scorecard. You might require a better performance appraisal system. But ABCM is one of the things which has been universally found that you cannot do a good strategy without ABCM. You can't do a good balanced scorecard without ABCM. So people lean on ABCM because it has got inputs which are covering. And in this little clip, this one further hour, I want to communicate this to you, that it is so global that the potential for all CMAs is huge. The typical revenue earning out of ABCM is about at least 3 to 4. Will disturb you. For example, cost is a fact. Estimate is an opinion. For profit, you can sell for loss. You can sell for strategy, you can sell for market share. So in one time, the cost accountant and the CMAs are living in the realm of facts. Once you tabulate and the departmental head says, I accept it, you are king. You can move any strategic decision in the right direction. Whether to accept that decision or not is the top management's policy. And if you are asked for an estimate without a tabulation, it is just an opinion. Then you come to funny costs which companies incur, you incur in your businesses, which no internal customer in his right senses or an external customer will ever accept. For example, your tolerance to rejections is only 2%, but you will reject 10%. Now, what happens to 8%? Is that product cost? This cost cannot go debited to any marketing department and say, okay, whether you like it or not, we've got 8% rejection, you sell in the market. But don't load the cost, Baba. You give him a fair price, and which is leading to one sentence, again, a disturbing sentence. The profit declared by a cost accountant is always 40 to 50% more than the profit declared by the chartered accountant. Because the chartered accountant is forced to take all the nonsense of the company. In Japanese, it's called muda. All the noise in a company, all the tabulations of the stupid costs, which nobody ever wanted, but which you incurred. You are charging it out to consumption one way or the other. Even when there is a stock write-off, at some point of time, charging out to consumption. But a cost accountant does not accept that. So a cost accountant, when he says the profit is 5 crores, the chartered accountant will say the profit is 3 crores. And the 2 crores is the nonsense of the company, which only one person can tabulate. So what is going wrong is what the cost accountant and the HOD can tabulate. And I am going to demonstrate how that is done. Come to another thing. People use this word loosely. All expenses are not costs. Needless to say, all costs are not product costs. And some of the product costs, which are product costs, are not even current costs. And if they are strategic or if they are meant for the future, for God's sake, don't penalize the product. Activity base teaches you not to penalize the product where the acceptance of that costing will not be there by the person who has to sell it. In other words, you have to carry people with you. This is a tough order. The political equations between departmental and an external consultant is always required, because the MD has his own equations with people, departmental heads have their own political problems with each other. So it's only a neutral person who can trigger this process in a company to be taken over by the HODs later. That's why activity-based costing goes beyond the traditional costing methods to recognize the causal relationship of cost drivers to activities. So if costs are inversely proportional to sales, why do you use directly proportional? If an accounts department is not proportional to turnover, why do you use turnover in performance appraisal of SBUs? These are the mistakes which are being committed, because of which people are leaving companies, because it is not fair. So the bill for a person who orders a banquet and a person who orders a cup of tea cannot be divided 50-50 each time. That friendship won't last. This is why indirect overhead management has become critical as we go forward. The first things that we do in every company is we go about asking departmental heads, whom do you think you are working for? Now, this is an arrogant question, which in his own local environment, an MD is authorized to ask. An MD can go and ask anybody. For example, if you are stocking vulgar raw materials, you're working for the vendors. You're not working for the company. You're working for your own comfort condition. So you go about saying things like, I want 6 months of stock instead of 2 months of stock. That luxury is gone. Post-COVID, no chance. WIP. Instead of doing something in 2 weeks, you take your own time. You got union problems. And you do things in 6 weeks. Is this product cost? Only the bank is making money. So you're working for the banks. You're not working for the company. This is how an MD, and this is how a CMA, and this is how a trained, process-friendly cost accountant talks. Take finished goods. तुमने बोला इसके लिए बनाया. Alternately, I thought I should make 100 and keep 20 in stock. You wanted 80, but I made 100. Who's responsible for all this? So the first thing we do is we find out how much the company is paying the banks. And we have an attachment of ownership, all the working capital, to the areas of raw material, WIP, finished goods. Then you've got a fancy area called receivables. You've got bank charges, you've got projects, you've got LCs, bank guarantees, hundis. Who owns it up? Everybody thinks the chartered accountant owns it up. Everybody thinks the cost accountant owns it up. Actually, all these HODs, the HOD called stores head, materials head, operations head, sales and marketing head, projects head, accounts head. In case of LCs and banks, you must examine why. Why are you giving hundis? Is it because you could not rate finance? Debited to marketing. Is it because the customer is not paying in time? In other words, the causal relationship of all the major costs of capital costs has to be owned up by the departmental heads. Activity-based cost management begins by taking all the top items and creating ownership. I'm actually sharing with you folks the methodology of going to a company and doing ABCM exercise. You need some symptoms. You have corridor gossip. If a company deserves ABCM analysis, these are the reasons. I'm sure some speed reading is called for. Take more gossip. Current systems may not identify the true product, provide cost performance information. I don't know the cost of servicing a customer. I don't know the cost of customer X versus customer Y. I don't know whether the best product of the company is being sold to the best customer. For all you know, the company is in the business of taking the best product and selling it to the worst customer, who neither has an appreciation nor pays on time. So I don't know these quantifications. These are not normal quantifications. These quantifications are corridor gossips, which only an HOD and a cost accountant can quantify. We're going to see how we do all this. Now, the moment you say, I require it, that is because in the trial balance, even the cost trial balance, costs cannot be ascertained to the products because that is not how accountancy is done. As a consequence, corridor gossip. Look at the corridor gossip. I invite all the CMAs who are into this webinar to do some speed reading. Now, the whole light pink slide is a corridor gossip, which comes because you account for it. The MD has traveled, he has gone for something, he's not gone for product costing. So where should this expense be accounted? Is it product costing? And between you and me and all the chartered accountants who probably are locked down, or at least all the cost accountants, please be informed that the nonsense in the company can sometimes be 2 to 3 times the PBT of a company, all hiding in the indirect costs, incorrectly taken to the products in a very demotivating manner. There is no ownership of the cost model. Reason why it is popular. Because you involve more and more people, so 90% accuracy was guaranteed, 90% ownership was guaranteed. Because costs are not ascertained to products, we have a problem. There is no consensus. Gossip. Why should I bear it? I never wanted this seminar. Why is my product loaded with so much of service cost? What is corporate doing for my product? Why should be the accountant? Why should the accounts department be debited to an SBU where the accounts has never gone? Not even once in a year has the CFO ever gone and visited that branch or that product group. So you got these unanswered questions. There is no analysis. Again, look at the gossip. I did this whole exercise for some steel. I told that the cost of your internal coordination and the cost of your meetings is 5 crores per quarter. Now, this is a 1,000 crore company with a bottom line of 1 crore. So the MD was very quick to react. The MD said, my God, we spent 5 crores in meetings and chasing our own tail another 5 crores. For want of a better word, it's called internal coordination. It's the internal coordinations and the meetings which can go on for hours and hours in an unprepared condition. Half the time, the people don't know why they are in the meeting in the first place. This is not going to be acceptable in the post-COVID period. Because in the post-COVID period, you will not be able to debit any stupid costs and say total absorption needs to be taking place. Marketing is not going to be able to sell. Half the top line is gone anyway. So I want you to take these sentences very seriously and convert it into consulting practice. And it is a very simple practice. Let's move on. Am I okay? I'm just assuming that the speed with which I'm going is okay. So if you don't have an alignment of strategic issues, a deliverable of a business process, because again, Does everybody know what he's doing? Honestly, they don't know. For example, just take the second one. Is our strategy known to all the stakeholders? We did a strategy assignment with ABCM for a bank in Kuwait. The person who thought he was the vice president bringing in most of the money, he was handling the second-hand car market. He thought he was a hero. The gentleman lost his job in 24 hours because the company wanted to be seen as a corporate lender, not as something which was okay for Islamic banking or something which was just okay for second-hand car market or vehicle market. So the departmental head or the vice president in marketing did not know. As a stakeholder, he did not know. That is not the strategy of the bank. The bank was really interested in getting money in a particular way from a particular source with a particular respectability. They didn't want to collect anything that came in cheaply. So sometimes even the vice presidents are not clear. Strategy is a very closely held document. In ABCM, you have to share costs, you have to share strategy, and it has to be spearheaded by the CMA, along with the MD and the HODs. At the cost of reputation, I'm doing this because this is how we consult. And it does not take more than 2 to 3 days to do one department. So if any company has got 10 departments, in 30 days, the assignment is over. And of course, I'm going to demonstrate this. There is no realistic profitability of a product, channel, geography. Gossip again. Something which works in Coimbatore may not work in North India. In North India, you've got mountains of rice husk solid fuel will work with briquettes. The same strategy will not work in Coimbatore in South India. So the strategy and the cost deployed and the way you manage those geographies cannot be the same. One size does not fit all. Again, CMA's very big role. Just see the gossip. This is gossip. Incidentally, whatever you're seeing in light brown is not Madhav's sentence. These are the sentences of the workshops after interacting with the MD. And I'm sharing this, which is the inputs from about 20 to 30 assignments with the CMA fraternity to tell you that these things matter. But unfortunately, CMAs do not spend time quantifying these things. When there are no alignments of strategic measures, operations are not clear. Now, this is where all CMAs should understand who makes the money. If you buy smart, materials makes the money. If you convert smart with phenomenally compressed WIPs, operations makes the money. If you sell smart, which means something which was $100, you sold for $120. You got a value addition nobody ever budgeted. That is smart selling. Now, there are going to be situations post-COVID that the entire marketing is not going to make any money. So you buy smart, you produce smart, you stock smart. Now you can't sell smart because you can't sell for a selling price because of reluctance from the market. Now, how does it matter to an MD or to a stakeholder, to the shareholders, and to all stakeholders? How does it matter who makes the money? Now, the cost accountant can guide this company with ABCM technique to tell the top management, this is not the time to give, this is not the time to raise prices. This is the time to grab the market share at any cost. Let the salesman even make a loss of 5%. As long as I get volumes for renegotiation in supply chain. As long as my batch quantities in operations are much bigger. In ceramics industries, if you can backfire both the furnaces back to back, you save a hell of a lot of money. You don't cool the furnace and heat it all over again. That's the way people are working today. The vulgar quantities which China gets is where the salesman is not making any money. There it is capacity. The capacity cost over absorbed 4 times is the profit. The profit lever is capacity absorption. The profitability absorption for capacity is linked very closely to supply chain procurements. They don't order 20 containers, they order 200 containers. That is why people are stunned when they go to Chinese. They say, my God, our total cost seems to be, borderline just slightly more than their raw material cost. Obviously, because their denominators are vulgar. And if the denominators are vulgar, what is the cost accountant doing? Where is the advice, the correct advice coming? Where are the incentives being negotiated by the government so that all industry is facilitated? That is where China has got its Global Workshop Act in order. So whatever we managed, even after visiting China and studying some of the systems and the strategies, we have understood that if the CMAs focus on the gossip in the corridor, which happens to be the brown areas which you are seeing, he will change people's lives. Just believe me, at my age, at 70, having worked for a very long stint in industries, I have been controller. I was controller for Atlas Copco, which had 120 plants all over. Now, with the stroke of pen, you can quadruple Turkey, half Chakan, double Dapodi, and wipe off some plant in France. How do you do it? The one and simple answer is understanding the cost structure. Understanding expense is not cost, cost is not product cost is not current product cost. And as a consequence, they account for it differently. Now all the accountants jump on me and say, no, but unabsorbed cost has to be accounted somewhere. How do you account for it? Now we're going to come to all that. I'm giving you these small shocks because you are in for the case studies in the next couple of slides. I need to share the company gossip with you, which has to convince you that your role is significantly different from what you're doing today, even in your practice and even as professionals. Now, we take a simple case study. Now, somebody says conventional accounting. This happens to be, by the way, payment center of a bank. Now, they spend 12 million. Now, conventional accounting, cost trial balance, whatever you want to call it. This is a political statement. I've got 2.2 million worth of people there. I've got some expenses adding up to 12 million. And that happens to be not communicating with anybody about what can be done, about what the potential of this payment center is. Don't forget that in a bank, which we do, there are 50 such departments. This is one such department. They want to know their transaction cost. They want to know what is exactly happening here, which we should be doing or not be doing. Now, the moment you work with these people for 2 days, you develop x-axis, which is the conventional accounting. You take this on the y-axis. On the x-axis, you put all the activities. So payment validation, generate EFT, special payment, develop systems, return payment, trace payment. These are the lifestyle. This is the lifestyle, the ABCM analysis of a payment center. So whatever is on the y-axis, it has to tally on the x-axis. Every item which is pink here has to become green. The transition to go to activity view takes only 2 days. I want all my fellow CMAs to understand that to go in a 10 department indirect overhead scenario, to go from this pink slide to the green slide, it does not take more than 2 days. With full ownership of the department head and with only the CMA coordinating it. Incidentally, that is exactly what we do. We do it for 30 days for 10 departments, put the whole circus together, give them a costing model, and tell them that they don't even understand their transaction cost. Now, this green slide is the only thing that matters. This is the ABCM of the conventional accounting. The previous slide is dead, null and void. Once you get this, the next thing is what happens to this? Activities have got a denominator. So with the proper drivers, causality, and the cost accounting techniques, you straight away go to first cost object, which is service. What is the deliverable of this payment center? The deliverable of this payment center happens to be electronic payment, check payment, courier payment, manual payment, OCR payments. Now these suffixes and short forms don't matter. For different banks, they'll be different. What is very important to CMA is this 12 million worth of non-analytical input has become 12 million worth of activity view, which item by item can be taken to very specific cost objects. If it is product, this is what you get. The highlighted yellow slide is product costing. If you want geography, north, south, east, west. If it is sector, coal, sugar, engineering, whatever. If it is application, it's application. In other words, the strategy of knowing the transaction cost and adding it up for 3 or 4 departments gives you ABC. So ABCM is the fine art of taking a conventional accounting, converting it to a costing understood activity view, and correctly with the HODs tallying 12 million with 12 million worth of transactions. Now, folks, I want you to imagine that you're going into a bank. So just imagine you've gone into a bank, had a cup of tea, you've withdrawn $1,000 rupees, and you had a cup of tea with the bank manager. Do you know that manual payment of taking a token and gossiping around and distracting bank overheads has cost 83 rupees per withdrawal? Because it doesn't matter whether you have withdrawn 1,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees. The transaction costs the payment center 83 rupees. If you go to the ATM and just swipe and withdraw your money, it is only 6 paisa. That is why when I say the pink slide has to reconcile with the green slide in 2 days. And the third day, the green slide has to reconcile with the yellow slide. And the only 2 competent people are the head of the department of the payment center, as well as the CMA, which means you and me. So you and me and the department heads are going to develop this yellow slide for 10 departments and add this whole circus together in a logical Excel. Incidentally, we don't use even 5% of Excel capability. We like to talk about what if and stuff like that, but with the linkages and with little assist in competence, you can do phenomenal things about these highlighted slides. I hope I've been able to just convince you the methodology of going from conventional accounting to ABCM and ABCM to any cost object of their choice. I said this can be geography as well. Let's take another one. You walk into a pathology lab and you want to give blood to do a blood test. Now, what is the shout line in the previous slide? The shout line in the previous slide, it says, now you know what it costs to make a payment. But it required so much of analysis, right? How many days did it take? The answer, my folks, is 2.5 days, that's all. You do this to 50 departments. They can be masquerading as treasury. People don't understand the cost of an LC. They don't understand the cost of a bank guarantee. They say this is the product of the bank. Unfortunately, product costing, they don't even understand, let alone know what it is. When I did it for a couple of banks, in humility, the selling price was 3 riyals per transactions. And the cost in case of letter of credit was 6 riyals. And the cost in case of bank guarantees was 1 riyal. So Peter was subsidizing Paul. Letter of credit was being subsidized by bank guarantees, or vice versa, depending on where the murder has taken place. Now, if you've got Peter subsidizing Paul all your life as a CMA, do you think you're doing justice about guiding the MD as to what's happening? For all you know, this company can take a view that we will not be in bank guarantees at all. Or they can view that out of the 25 products we give, 4 have to be killed immediately because they understand the true cost as understood by the HOD. You ask any HOD one simple question. In all humility, after you have some kind of a equation with the guy, you say, if this was your company, would you be doing what you're doing? The answer is emphatic no. The answer is this company wants to do it this way, so I'm doing it this way. Unfortunately, then you've killed all the creativity that the CMA profession has taught you. Only because a simple tool, you don't want to go that extra mile and guide the MD that so much of nonsense is taking place in this company. Why don't we do something about it? So I'm revisiting one of my old sentences. My old sentence was, the quantified nonsense of a company can be 2 to 5 times the PBT of a company. And all this is hidden in the realm of support costs, indirect overheads. So right now, all along, we are not going to talk about bill of material. That is a supply chain issue. That's not an ABCM issue. ABCM addresses indirect costs only. Now you're walking into a pathology lab, and you talk to the receptionist, and you talk to the head of the pathology. What kind of expenses do you think you make in a month? Whether you're a Dr. Reddy, or whether you're a Golwilkar in Pune, or whether you're a multinational somewhere else, or whether you're a walkout with the pathology department, the approach is the same. The answers are as vague as it gets. 85 lakhs is the cost per month. This is what the cost conventional accounting has told of the SAP system, of the Oracle system. Now you talk to the 3 or 4 department heads. Can you please tabulate your lifestyle? Now, here is the lifestyle. If you want the activity view, what is the ABCM view? What do they do? What happens to 85 lakhs? So 85 lakhs goes into lab reception, sample collection, lab analysis, reporting, endorsement, and billing. And these 6 things have 6 department heads. And they understand what the hell is happening. That is why all those 40 lakhs worth of salary correctly go to these 6 areas in a very simple Excel technique. So you got the ABCM view. Now you ask them, what do you deliver? Now, whether you go to skin and bone, or whether you go to cat lab, or whether you go to ward, or whether you go to OPD, or whether you go to a simple pathology lab, what do you do? What do you deliver? The answer is product. What's the product? You do hematology, you do histopathology, you do clinical psychology, you do immunology. Incidentally, these are real life figures. Folks, what I'm sharing with you are client data. It doesn't matter who the client is. What is important is the pink to green transition to ABCM is 2 days, and ABCM to regrouping of these activities for any cost object. Here it was service. In the bank example, it was a product. Electronic payment was a product. Here it is a service. So what is a service? You can see for yourself, 85 lakhs tallies with 85 lakhs, tallies with 85 lakhs. Do you know what this means? This means that 85 lakhs, everybody is working all the time super efficiently. The truth is not there. Suppose 10 lakhs is worthless. What will happen? The green slide will not be 85 lakhs, it will be 75 lakhs. And only 75 lakhs will go to transaction cost. Now you can see hematology, the cost per test is 75 rupees. No wonder when you go for a blood test, don't you pay 120 rupees? You pay 120 rupees, 140 rupees, depending on whether it's a small lab or a Dr. Reddy or a multinational. I really hope I am communicating. In a webinar, I can't see you guys. I can only tell you, and I'm sharing with you one of the simplest mechanisms which has to be replicated with the help of the departmental head across the company. So you have now been exposed to service cost. You do this for each and every department of a hospital, and you can say, I've got the whole Walcott Hospital with Harvard Foundation on my palm, which is what we did, and which is exactly what you all can do. So when you go to different industries, sectors, you go to pharma, petrochemicals, anything, you must have the aptitude to convert a lifestyle. Conventional accounting needs lifestyle. You need to define the activities of that department or that subject under analysis. And then what is the strategic decision is the highlighted area. If it is geography, it is north, south, east, west, as I said. If it is services, it is like this. If it is product, it is product. So with your permission, folks, I think with these two basic examples, I'm moving on. And now you know what was the cost and what you paid for those blood tests, whether it is HIV or how it got resolved. You can't have one subsidizing the other. That is very demotivating. If SBU1 is subsidizing SBU2, SBU2 is having a nice time. So you can't have subsidy. And Peter subsidizing Paul is the worst thing the MD can fall trap to in controlling a company. Because you never know who's bringing in the money, or you never know who's wasting a huge amount of it. So ABCM delivers. Some speed reading, folks. You have got this in PDF anyway. I would like to spend more time on methodology and case studies. And this kind of aspects, I'm sure you've already got it, so you will be able to dwell in. Now, please note the item number 3, which I'm going to focus on, which is called unabsorbed costs. I told you, all costs are not product costs, and all product costs are also not current costs. So these are the deliverables. Take a hard look at that last one, strategic costing. I don't know how much I can squeeze in these 80-90 minutes. I'm going to do my best. But this workshop normally takes 1.5 days for seasoned transfer of technology from initiated to non-initiated, and from the non-initiated to I swear by it kind of transformations. It takes a 1.5 day workshop to cover each and every point. Now, in strategic costing, do you know that companies have got 500 crore loss budgets only for market share? They come into India. When the Whirlpools came into India, they had a huge mandate for the people. So profitability is not the concern. I'm giving you 500 crores. Grab market share. Till every housewife is talking about our product. Same fridge which was sold for 2 years later, they were selling it for 16,000. Because by that time, 3 more companies had wound up. Their names are very well publicized on the net. And a lot of people who understand this particular sector know which company went belly up to make sure that this other company succeeded. That's how the Samsungs and that's how the LGs and that's how the Whirlpools have delivered. So strategic costing has got something to do with what is the strategic cost for this year. In other words, you're telling the pricing people, for God's sake, sell at a loss. But this is our strategy. Link it. And this is my Excel sheet, which will tell you at what point of time migrate to correct costs and then make a mega profit. So when you want to invest first 2 or 3 years, please do it with a sensible Excel sheet, which tells you how you are going to recover those costs, along with the kind of aggressive transaction level activity-based cost management, which I demonstrated earlier. The benefits are obvious. It is always motivating. It is always better because Peter will no longer subsidize Paul. If SBU1 is performing, you are not going to debit SBU1 with some vulgar expenses. You will debit what the SBU1 chief will accept. As you go along, the managers also fully get involved. There are opportunities you never imagined. CMS never imagined. I, for example, as an ex-MD and an ex-controller, I never imagined that these kind of opportunities are there. It is a simple Excel sheet which stared at me. Now, when you've got cost information, I need to take you back for 1 minute to the textbook approach. And from that textbook approach, we'll go to the motivating approach immediately. Now, what do you do with cost information? Okay, inventory. Do you take that extra effort to take all the working capital cost, RM, WIP, finished good, material, receivables, LCs, hundis? Do you assign owners to them? So if you're paying the bank 30 crores of rupees per annum, I want to know which departmental head owns up those 30 crores. Simple. And I will debit his ABCM sheet. So if you're not collecting on time, I'm going to debit marketing with the cost of receivables. And I have had the experience in life to go through a lot of heads of marketing, including MDs, and ask them one simple question. Vaisa, what is the highest element of cost in your department? And everybody gave me a wrong answer. They gave me an answer which said foreign travel. They gave me an answer which was something stupid, which went beyond the realms of what I ever expected. The truth and the answer, the correct answer is interest on receivables. The manpower cost was only 60 lakhs. But the receivable cost was 6 crores. It was 10 times. So what is controllable? What is controllable is the nonsense which goes on in marketing. So if you tell the MD and guide the MD correctly, he will focus on the right things. One of the biggest jokes in specification is that the customer wanted a horse with one white right hind leg. And what you delivered was some four-legged animal. It could have been a donkey. Obviously, the customer is not going to pay you. But the MD doesn't know about it. The specs were wrong. They were wrongly communicated to planning. They were wrongly communicated to operations. They were wrongly dispatched. Do you think your money is going to come to the bank? In the meanwhile, all the resources have been spent. All the resources. RM, WIP, FG, holding, cost, warehouse. And the customer is not paying you. You think post-COVID you're going to afford all this? So those people who, for want of a better word, are taking the management for a ride need to be quantified and exposed. The exposure begins by doing half the MD's job as a CMA. As a CMA, the MD wants to have ownership with the department heads, take all this and create departmental ownerships. That's the first thing we do when we start an ABCM. And then we tell the MD, now go to the right pocket, let him do the talking. So he's not going to be in the business of buy but not issue, or issue but not produce, or produce but not go but not put in the bonding warehouse and dispatch but not receive correctly or incorrectly, receive but not pay. But who's paying for this? What is this working capital cost? The bank is making 30 crores, man. You don't have a bottom line of 1 crore. Whom are you working for? You're working for the banks or you're working for yourself? So in every aspect in ABCM, you ask the guy, whom are you working for? As a consequence, this ownership has to come through. Now you see what a textbook sentence has become in an ABCM webinar. I only hope you're getting this impact in your guts, because your job can significantly change. Then you got product costing. I gave you some example of product costing and how fast it can be done. Instantly, 95% accuracy is good enough. If you saw the red block which I put, it is not a formal accounting system. 90% tally is okay, no problem. I want to take a decision. I don't require to be 100% correct. So you do product costing. ABCM leads to ABC. ABCM leads to ABM. What do you do? What do you manage? Why? You continue that activity. ABCM leads to ABB. Since you know the cost of the activity, the slide number 2, you can decide whether to outsource it or whether to do it yourself. The moment you outsource it, the resources attached to that activity get redeployed in a company, which is called restructuring. I'll give you these examples as we go along. So product costing, textbook, performance measurement, everybody loves to do this. But we take the whole accounts department and debit it to the SBU proportionate to the turnover. That is how we do performance appraisals of indirect support departments. Same thing with media, same thing with design, central design, same thing with HR, same thing with secretarial. At the end of the day, you're fooling around with 40-50 crores of overhead when the bottom line is not even 10 crores. And no ownership. So these are textbook blocks. But implementing them as CMAs, it's a huge task. And that will pay you double your salaries if you can get into it. Cost control and management. Very simple. Very simple to put in a block like this. Incentives and bonus. Then, of course, employee retention. SBU rewards. Because your allocations were wrong, vice presidents have left the company. They said, here is a CMA and here is a CA who accounts for SBU profitability, and it is unfair. Now let's please focus on one word called unabsorbed costs. This is extremely important in ABCM because it is never debited to a product. Now, please put on your thinking caps and start imagining what I have put up. In the absorption, you budget for something to be absorbed. That figure in ABS is what you wanted to absorb, and your actuals may be higher. So now you tell me, is material overhead when you don't buy even half the ABP? Because marketing didn't get the orders, supply chain is not even bought. Do you think materials has to be absorbed fully? Are you going to pass on all this nonsense to the customer? Interest on raw material. Instead of holding 10 days of stock, you're holding 3 months of stock. You think that is a product cost? So when you have a budget for 51, you have actuals of 71. What happens to 20, which is 2 crores? Mind you, these are figures for 1 quarter. These are figures of 1 quarter of one SBU of one company. Where do you think the MD should focus on? This 20 million in red happens to be the nonsense in a company. Now, if you put up this slide and give it to the MD and say, sir, आपके राज में ऐसा चल रहा है. Stock write-offs, price variance not operated, bought at 8, later bought at 10, never passed on to customer, process overhead, overcapacity, machine bought for 3 shifts, used only 1 shift. What happens to the interest and depreciation for 2 shifts? Are you going to use 1 shift denominator and make MHR 3 times? The customer will accept that. In other words, the CMA is the only guy who can quantify all this. Inefficiencies. So, घंटे का काम 6 घंटे में किया. Where is all that going? People are taking salaries, wages and going home. Whether you call it direct labor, blue collar or white collar. At some, it hits the transaction cost, service cost or product cost. But you have the courtesy to take this red figure of 20 or 2 crores, which is unabsorbed cost, which was well over the assumptions you made when the ABP was made. Annual budget was made. We said we'll do 100 tons. Actually, you don't even make 75 tons. Is the CMA going to quietly see that? Or is he going to swing into action and say, okay, these are the following actions we can take? Just go down every one of them. Rejects. Under rejects and scraps, the budget was for 2%. You rejected 3%. That is why instead of 24, you rejected 36. Well, when it went down the tube. Interest on receivables. The customer is not paying. Instead of paying in 30 days, he's paying in 120 days. Where is that cost going? You are paying the banks. Is it product cost? In ABCM, the product cost is not there, which is why CMAs be informed. The profit you are going to report to the MD is going to be sometimes double the profit that the chartered accountant will report. Because poor chap, he has to tally to 100. He has to worry about auditors. He has to make sure that everything is charged out to consumption one way or the other. Even though it is an expense which is not a cost, even though it is a cost which is not a product cost, even though it is not a product cost which is not a current cost. This is the potential of the CMA. The CMA can actually go and tell the MD, our profits are 5 crores and not 3 crores per quarter. That's what we'll get into. Obsolescence, admin, extraordinary, taxes, show cause notices, stupidity in marketing, loss of C forms, MODVATs not taken correctly. Are these product costs? These are all unabsorbed costs. And the MD better spend his time on the red figures because he can double the profits of a company if he just does this simple thing, which is why CMAs have to be in the full-time ABCM business of quantifying unabsorbed cost, putting them, as the Japanese say, muda cost, or the cost of the noise in a company. Of course, when you have 2 crores, you want ownership. If you're a good tabulator, and if 90% accuracy is okay, you tabulate it. You can see 2 million tallies. And whatever you see on the top, which is M, R, FS, V, BM, happens to be the product groups which I was heading as an MD. I was heading this as an MD. The M is magnetic flow meter, the R is rotometer, the FS is flow switch. These are different products of a company, and these are 7 or 8 product managers who developed this slide. I put all of them in one room and said, nobody goes home. You just tally this 2 crores product group wise. And of course, based on what is the item, 90% accuracy is okay. Some of them have got records. Quality control maintains some records. Rejection analysis is normally there. But for everything, you don't have detailed records. In which case, the judgment of the departmental head along with the CMA is final for the MD. As long as you create ownership of 2 crores, I'm okay. I have no problem. The MD never knew this. Now, just take a look at how we guide the MDs. We tell them that there is some revenue. All right, that revenue happens to be 192. And there is some transfer cost, which is bill of materials and, direct cost, some power and all those kind of things. That's about 93. So the unadjusted GP, which marketing brings on the table, happens to be 98. I hope my slides are clear, and I hope my pointer is also clear. Then you've got these indirect departments. For simplicity, I have put only 3 or 4. There are about 16, 17 in larger companies. All of them erode this GP. This is ABCM. You require the pie chart of all these indirect departments. And finally, with their subtractions, product group wise, you will end up with 5 crores. Now, the cost accountant is reporting a profit of 5 crores. And now the chartered accountant steps in. He says, but no, this kind of money is not there in the banks. I've got only 3 crores. And what is the difference? What is the difference between the 5 crores and the 3 crores? As per financial accounts, it is 3 crores. As per the cost accountant, it is 5 crores. What is this 2 crores? This 2 crores, friends, what is this 2 crores? And that answers your second question, कि unabsorbed cost accounting कैसे करने का? So when you want to do the cost accountancy, you have this many individual cost accounts in the cost trial balance, and you account it this way so that everybody knows that as far as the auditors are concerned, it is 3 crores. As far as the cost accountant is concerned, he says the profit of this company was 5 crores. If the profit of the company was 5 crores, it means 2 crores was the profit which was wiped out by the nonsense in the company. Now, if the CMA can quantify with the departmental heads for all departmental heads, tell the MD, तेरे राज में ऐसा चल रहा है, which MD won't require it? And now, just to address one simple thing, take this example. Take this example of V. Now, this Vortex product has got an adjusted GP of minus 1.7 million here itself. But this is a newborn product. And here, this fellow's got 38 million as a product. This looks like a hero. This fellow looks like a liability. You want to wind up this product. That is not the correct thing. In sensitivity, what you do is, you say that if the present volumes, pre-COVID, post-COVID, now post-COVID, you'll go from 3,000 to 600. That is why you'll go from a profit of 19 million to a loss of 1.7 million post-COVID, because you will have an erosion of volumes. But this is not correct. Just because there is a market difficulty doesn't mean your volumes get eroded. If you're smart, you will do your product costing in such a way that you will actually go from 600 to 3,000. Domestically, we went from 6,600 to 1,500, and from 1,500 we took an export jump, which was double. So some products will move from here to here, and some so-called sluggish, contentious, poorly tabulated will move from mega profit to loss. Now, what is the trick? The trick is before you hit this red figure from a previous profitable figure, you must be able to kill the product somewhere here. If you kill the product here, at least you will not make a loss. So post-COVID, what is very important is you do this for all the products, and the person who does this should be the product manager for product V. He, along with the CMA, will do this. And whatever accuracies, inaccuracies you want to say, okay, if you want to go from 1500 to 3000, the R&D will be the same, but I will require more people. I will require 20 lakhs more here. I will require something else in finance. I require one more bonded warehouse. Whatever you want to do, you do in the what if format or the ABCM of these gold-plated departments, which can be anywhere from 5 to 10 or even up to 20 in large companies. And they kill the company because you don't account for them correctly. Now, these are levers to maximize profits. Now, you're all very quick-witted CMAs. So you will see just by increasing the sales, you will not increase anything sometimes. It depends on what your variability and fixities are. But by decreasing a cost, you can vary a contribution so significantly. Similarly, if your variable cost is a little different, so you have to do this for different product groups. There you have to advise the MD as to which lever you want to use where. So which product to get in, which product to get out, which is likely to give you more contributions, which is a better for sales increase, what is better for cost decrease. And these kind of levers, you will have to work in that area. Now, when you advise somebody about a technique which he is not familiar with, I say it may take 12 months to go to strategic costing. 3 months for profitability. I don't know why this is happening. Maybe I should go one slide back. Six months for unabsorbed cost, 9 months for business process management, and about 12 months for strategic costing. That is the kind of learning element for all corporates, large corporates, 500 crores, 1,000 crore companies. Smaller companies learn faster, surprisingly. Now, why are activities important? They are actionable, consume resources, they are easily understood, they link planning, they control, they integrate, they are cross-departmental interdependence. If they do it, we can do it. If they don't do it, everything is a loss. They facilitate the understanding of cost drivers which are accurate, true, not stupid. Why is ABCM so popular? Because it is driven by HODs and not by finance department alone. And the HODs involve themselves. They can tweak the system, which is why if you can do something manually well, you can computerize it. Don't make the stupid mistake of computerizing something and then figuring out how it can be done manually. In fact, what you can't do manually properly, you cannot computerize. And that is why HODs are very happy because they can tweak the system. ABCM is an HOD-driven exercise along with the CMA at the cost of repetition. Then they asked me, show cause why ABCM should be done. So I said, okay. I took some time off from the next day's speaker and I answered that slide. No blame, because HODs have done it along with the CMA, discussed with the MD. It's apolitical because an external person was involved. He was not for this product. He wanted to kill that sector or stop this branch. It can be replicated in 2 days per quarter. When you do this once for a company, this entire exercise can be done in less than 1 week for large companies. No software at all. MD's agenda, but MD does not have the time for it. MD does not know 2 crore khadde mein gaya hai. Somebody has to tell him, na, 2 crore aise khadde mein gaya hai. Then it throws up before and after. There's a sense of timing. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. It's a comparable benchmarking. You can do ABCM once a quarter, no problem. Facilitates balance scorecard. Without this tabulation, without the analysis, without the strategic inputs for transaction costing and ABC, do you think a strategy document is possible? It is just shouting matches. He who shouts loudest in the board meeting will win because it is not backed up by a tabulation four people agreed to. That is why people who hold the strategy close to your chest and don't dissipate it to all the HODs need learning. The bottleneck of companies is at the top. Folks, have you ever seen a bottle with the bottleneck at the bottom? The bottleneck is always at the top because they don't share enough. They don't take people in confidence. And that is why stakeholders don't know their real role. Their KPI is wrong. Their KR is wrong. They're working on the wrong products. Wrong person. Good products are sold to bad customers. And the company keeps on losing money. Then there is no software cost. This is plain, simple, smart Excel. And the previous statement is obsolete the moment the next statement is ready, except for its learning.